The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Salem Media of Hawaii.
Welcome to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic.
Marko Mijuskovic is registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, 10004, and at Wealth Strategy Partners, 677 Ala Moana Boulevard, Suite 720, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations.
And now your host, Marko Mijuskovic.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 95.1 FM or 760 AM KGU. Hawaii Money Resource been around since 2011. Been interviewing business owners and entrepreneurs. So right now, count is probably over 450 plus and counting. Today, we do have a guest, and I'm going to introduce the guest in just a little bit. Before we go into our interesting story today, I would like to remind you, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Please go online and register for our upcoming event. We have a first major event for this year. It's going to be focusing on a business exit, business preparation, tax planning, and much, much more. This is unique and very limited seating event, so I'm encouraging you to do that right away. businessexitplanninghawaii.com, businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Okay, so like we always do, we bring the business owner, entrepreneur into our studio, and we try to pick his brain for 47 active minutes and try to learn as much as we can through their experience. So if you're listening to our show and you are looking to start your own business, this is like an educational course. So be tuned, listen carefully, because I'm going to introduce, and I'm apologizing in advance if I butcher your name. It's going to be a mouthful like mine. Tea Anora Paka Worthington.
Correct.
Did I say this right? I needed to spell like this and have a little cheat sheet over here in front of me. But I guess people know you as Paka. Paka, welcome to Hawaii Money Resource.
Aloha e Marko, aloha kako, aloha ke akua e ke kupuna kako.
Well, awesome.
Greetings,
Greetings.
Marko.
Perfect. Paka, 30 seconds overview. What's your business all about?
My business is primarily about jewelry manufacturing, predominantly pearl jewelry manufacturing from the South Pacific. We have a retail store in Rarotonga in the Cook Islands, and then we also export primarily throughout the Pacific, including Fiji, Hawaii, New Zealand, and Australia.
Paka, we're going to talk about business more in a following segment. This first segment we usually use to introduce you, you're a business owner, entrepreneur, but at the same time you're ordinary citizens like everybody else. So tell me a little bit about yourself personally.
Well, we're all a product of our parents, and my father is Hawaiian, so I went to Kamehameha schools, and that's where my Hawaiian side comes out. My mother is half Rarotongan, half Tahitian, so that's where my Rarotonga-Tahitian connection comes from. I went to Kamehameha schools here in Honolulu. I also went to American University in Washington, D.C. I did my bachelor's in real estate finance and my master's in international finance. I used to work in the U.S. Senate, been in real estate, been in commercial and investment banking. Also worked in the Prime Minister's office in Rarotonga. I've also, aside from my jewelry manufacturing business, I've also owned a bar and restaurant and also a clothing store as well, too. One of my personal satisfactions is actually teaching a personal finance course that I taught at the University of the South Pacific as well, too. Mm-hmm. I've also developed and managed 2 international sporting events for canoe paddling and kite surfing as well, too. And I must say I love history. I love Polynesian history. I love Hawaiian history. I love climbing waterfalls, visiting historical sites, and so on and so forth.
You do that, I assume, for your hobbies?
I do that for my hobbies. I also like visiting the heiaus and maraes, the sacred areas of Hawaii and also Polynesia. I'm also big into kite surfing, and canoe surfing as well too on my personal time.
So how much really you have a personal time on top of the running the business and doing all the other stuff that you just mentioned? By the way, pretty impressive resume so far.
Oh, thank you. Well, we'll get to this later. But I think really, as we know, a bit of it has to do with everyone has to be multi-skilled and multi-dimensional these days. Mm-hmm. If you want to be an entrepreneur or do anything in life, really. But we can touch upon that later. Mm-hmm. You mentioned about the personal and business time. I'm hard out on both. I'm hard out on business and I'm hard out on personal time. So that's how I balance the two, is I go hard out on both.
So how do you balance the time during the day? Do you have a set schedule? I'm trying to practically, from the practical standpoint, how do you do it?
Well, being an entrepreneur, we're very, very lucky. We control our own time, our own timetable and our own destiny. So I don't really have a set timetable and set a schedule. People ask me all the time, oh, when are you going back to this country or going back to that country? I tell them, I got no idea. I only buy one-way tickets. When it's time to go, it's time to go. So I have a very flexible schedule.
Perfect. And just for our listeners, they cannot see that right now, but you have your protege right here in the studio with us. And you mentioned that your succession plan. So maybe you can mention her too. Sure.
I'm very proud to have my daughter here, Puaranui Worthington, who also goes to Kamehameha schools. She's in 4th grade there. And I've been teaching her a little bit about business as well too, and education and what business is about, and entrepreneurship. And I'm sure we can talk about that more as the interview carries on. Perfect.
What is your favorite hobby?
Right now, I would say number one probably have to be kite surfing. I'm very, very big enough. I come from a surfing background, and then I've done a whole bunch of other sports as well too. But kite surfing is really taken off for me, and that's what I do a lot of.
How often you can do it?
As much as often. Lately, not so much. I've been very, very busy. But whenever the surf's up and the wind's up, and I don't have business to do, I'm kite surfing usually.
You mentioned that you do a business across the Pacific, so it requires a lot of traveling. How much traveling you actually do per year?
Quite a bit. I would say I spend probably half my time traveling.
Is it hard on the family? Is it hard on you?
Yes, as anyone knows who does a lot of traveling, it's actually a pain in the ass, really. It used to be a lot more fun back in the day. We didn't have to go through security and stand in lines and all that kind of thing.
Just walking in and out.
Exactly. Back in the day, traveling was fantastic. But these days, it's not as fun as it used to be, that's for sure.
Perfect. Paka, by the way, name of the business is Paka's Pearls.
Correct.
That's official name, am I correct?
Correct.
Perfect. So thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. We're going to take our first break. Today's guest, Paka's Pearls, Paka Worthington, president of his company, Paka's Pearls. I guess the best way for people to reach out to you or to see what you do is your website, pakaspearls.com.
That's correct. And we also have a Facebook page, Paka's Pearls, as well, too. And then also my email address, pakaworthington@gmail.com, all one word.
Perfect. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned. We are taking our first break for today.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
On stage at Hawaii Theater, Dial M for Murder, starring Joe Moore and Pat Sajak as you've never seen them. Moore is the deadly British husband, Tony Wendis. Sajak, the American Max Halliday, who's had an affair with Tony's wife. The most chilling stage thriller you'll ever see. June 21st through July 1st. Tickets on sale at HawaiiTheater.com and at the box office, 528-0506. Proceeds to benefit the Hawaii Theater.
John, we can't keep putting this off.
Okay, I'll clean the gutters.
I'm talking about your dad.
Well, what can we do? He wants to stay in his house.
We can make his house safer.
Yeah, I worry about the steps.
Perfect world, there are no steps, but he does have steps, and that banister only goes halfway up. And all those little throw rugs are falls waiting to happen.
So what about his prescription meds? If he forgets and takes them twice, he could get really dizzy.
Right. We could get him one of those daily pill counters. And he should have some sturdy hand grips in the bathroom and shower. This is all easy to do.
You know he's a proud guy. He's not going to take all our fussing lying down.
That's the idea.
For older people, falling and breaking a hip can be devastating. For more tips on making home safer, visit orthoinfo.org/falls. A message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons and the Orthopedic Trauma Association.
Now please, clean the gutters. Just be careful on the ladder.
Once upon a time, there was a business owner who worked hard and watched his company flourish. Then came the time to sell his company and retire in Palm Beach. But the path to his happily ever after was full of pitfalls and monstrous taxes. Whatever was he to do?
It's not a fairy tale, and the wrong strategy can deprive you of a storybook ending. I'm Marko Mijuskovic, and I know about business valuation. I'm also a specialist in business exit, asset protection, and estate planning. Visit my website, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and I promise you'll find more than just a trail of breadcrumbs.
BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com is an online resource designed to help you prepare for the final stage of your business's life cycle. At BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com, you'll have no trouble at all finding workshops, podcasts, videos, articles, and more. Your happily ever after is just a click away at BusinessExitPlanningHawaii.com.
Every single year, millions of average Americans like you have their personal lives virtually destroyed. In an instant, you could lose control of your bank accounts, credit cards, and worse, your very reputation can be stolen and violated. If you or a loved one is a victim of identity theft, FastIDRecovery.com can help you get it all back. At FastIDRecovery.com, you can put your trust in experts in the field of credit score restoration, IRS fraud resolution, document and ID replacement, and more. Without a fully managed protection and restoration service like FastIDRecovery.com, it can take hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars to reclaim what identity thieves have stolen and fix the chaos they leave behind. Your peace of mind is as valuable as your assets, and FastIDRecovery.com will get everything back, including your sanity. Relief is a simple click away at FastIDRecovery.com. That's FastIDRecovery.com.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the Outer Islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource weekly, every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can find us 95.1 FM or 760 AM KGU. Online, you can listen our podcasts and stream live at hawaiimoneyresource.com or businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Since we're talking about a business planning and business succession and business exit, the best website for all the resources that you would like to read and educate yourself additional to what you hear in our show is businessexitplanninghawaii.com. We're also encouraging you, if you're a business owner and you probably have 5 to 10 years before you want to get out of the business, go and register for our upcoming event. This is our first major event for this year. We're going to have our Exit Planning Advisory Board in the room answering your question. We're going to talk about tax planning, succession planning, all the legal stuff that it takes in a process of exit planning, and also business valuation. So a lot of good stuff, a lot of good resources in one spot. I'm encouraging you to visit us at businessexitplanninghawaii.com and register your seat. Seating is limited. Okay, let's talk. Let's go back to our guest today, Paka Worthington, president of Paka's Pearls, pakaspearls.com. Paka, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself. You have a pretty extensive resume, and apparently you've been in a business and around a business for a while, did a lot of ventures in your life. So why don't we just go down the memory lane, and why don't you tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurship skills? How did you build it? Why, to begin with? You know, whose fault is it that you actually prefer to control your time, like you said earlier, versus working for someone. So just take me down the memory lane. Let's cover it. Let's talk about it.
Well, I won't go into all the places I've worked because that'd be too long a list, but let me just cut right to before I started my business. I used to work for the Prime Minister of the Cook Islands in Rarotonga. And basically what happened is I was getting disillusioned with making recommendations to the Prime Minister, him not following through with it because of political reasons. And so that became very frustrating. It was then that I decided that I wanted to leave, and I saw an opportunity. I had been involved in the pearl business previously before that a bit. The number one thing, I think, for me was that I fell in love. And that means I fell in love with the pearl. And the reason why I fell in love with the pearl is that if people are not familiar with black pearls, they come in all different sizes, all different shapes, all different colors as well, too. People hear black pearl, they expect to see black. Mm-hmm. The reality is the pearls come in green, blue, purple, aubergine, bronze, gold, white, silver, every color in the rainbow. And so how I got involved in the business really is I fell in love with the pearl first.
You mentioned that you were like dealing with the other businesses before and you had a different ventures in the past too. So they all require some level of entrepreneurship and also entrepreneurial skills. So why don't we talk about that as well?
Well, previous to me starting the pearl jewelry manufacturing business, I had only worked for other people. Mm-hmm. It was subsequently after that I started the pearl business, the pearl jewelry manufacturing business that I started. So I do have a bit of a background about working for big entities and big corporations, and that was a really actually good experience as well, too, because you learn about operations and management and some of those other skills as well, too. There's no question that has helped me in terms of my entrepreneurial ventures that I've gotten involved in. But again, if we come back to the original thing about my pearl jewelry manufacturing business, aside from the first thing I did was I fell in love with the pearl.
And why? I mean, how did it happen?
Again, if you look at the black pearls, mm-hmm. like I have on here, they come in all different colors and sizes and shapes. And if you ever see an array of black pearls in front of you, the pearls speak for themselves. A beautiful black pearl, I don't have to talk or convince anyone. People can see it in their own eyes.
People know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the product speaks for itself. And that's actually one of the great things about the pearl business. When you have a beautiful top quality pearl, I do not have to say a word. The pearl sells everything by itself. So
you mentioned like working for a corporation, working for entities brought certain level of experience. How did you how did you first of all track all that experience, and how did you document it for yourself, or it was just like, hey, I learned this working for the Prime Minister, I learned this working for investment bank, I learned this by whatever. Did you have this like master plan in your head that eventually one day you're gonna work for yourself, or not really?
Not at all. In fact, I grew up in a family that were not in business at all.
So there is no family members that were actually business owner or something like
None. My grandfather was, however, but my mother and my father, not at all. They were bureaucrats and diplomats. And so I grew up with them. They were very strong in education, but it was about education, get a good job in management, get into the rat race, work yourself up the corporate ladder. Never once in my life did my parents or any school I ever say is another option in life is to start your own business and become an entrepreneur. And I must say, even up at Kamehameha schools, which looking back for me, it really disappointed me that even at school, not once did anyone ever say to me, another option in life is to start your own business.
So there was one way only, analog, kind of like you work for someone else, work
Correct.
Yourself, but then there is another option. How did you discover the other option?
Again, first I fell in love with the product, personally, the pearl. Secondly, I looked into the market and I saw that I could offer a better quality at a better price. And so I think for any business person, whether you're a big company or a small company, anytime you can look at something and say, hey, I can offer a better product at a better price, then that's real value to pursue. Secondly, I also envisioned some jewelry designs that I thought would really appeal to customers. And when I looked at the marketplace, they were not doing these designs either. So it was a combination of seeing that quality and value opportunity as well as that creative opportunity.
So you had a vision.
I did.
So since you didn't have any like experience with with the product other than just personally falling in love, and then did you have any design background in the past or not really?
Absolutely none. And it's funny. When you look at life, you kind of look at, what you studied and what you learned, and then where you kind of end up can be kind of polar opposites. I must say, even myself personally, I'm a very unmaterialistic person. And yet I ended up in a very materialistic type of business. And
jewelry business, right?
Correct. And when I speak to my mother about it, my mother says to me, never in my wildest dreams would I ever think you'd be in the jewelry business. That'd be the last thing I thought you would do with your life. But I must say she's been very, very happy I've been in this business because she's got a lot of jewelry.
She's getting the best one.
Exactly.
So let's make a quick point right here that whatever you want to do as an entrepreneur is possible. So because and let me just mention it, because you didn't have any background, you never did a business before, you didn't have any experience in design of jewelry, you didn't have any experience in design after all, you probably, I don't know how's your drawing skills, but you probably
not good. Carry on.
Not good. And you didn't have any experience with a product, but you made a business out of it.
Yes.
So the point is that whatever you envision, you can do it.
Yes. And, as you know, though, too, it's extremely risky. And you've got to, be willing to take that risk and get out of your comfort zone. A lot of people do not have that ability, and we can all understand why. It's very, very nice to be in a very nice, safe job somewhere, collecting a check every week. And that's great.
Bureaucratic setting.
Correct. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people are more risk averse than others, and I would definitely say myself in general, I don't mind taking risks in life and in business and investments as well too. We know the paradigm risk and return, right? Mm-hmm. So the higher the risk, the higher the potential return, and of course sometimes some businesses don't work out as well too.
So, in which point in the past you said, okay, this is enough and let me start my own thing? Like, I know you fall in love, but it doesn't happen overnight. You probably were boiling that idea in your head for a while. Correct.
I did give it some thought for a while. Just on a little bit on a tangent with this too. I would have been a lot better off, like most people, if we had started our businesses earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But
because of time.
And the thing that still gets me to this day is that I believe every high school in the world should at least have a course in personal finance and investing. Because it doesn't matter what you do in your life, personal finance and investing will always be an issue you have to confront for the rest of your life after you graduate from high school, right? Doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
Secondly, I think every school should also have a course in entrepreneurship as well, too. And when I look back, when I went to school up at Kamehameha, not only did we never even talk about these issues, but we never had any of these courses as well, too. Mm-hmm. The only one business course we had, which I used and it became very, very beneficial, was accounting. And I still use those skills today, but there was never any course on personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship.
What about nowadays? Do you know anything?
I have no idea what's going on these days in high schools in general. I'd like to think that things have gotten better, but I really do not know. I suspect that there are probably still a lot of big gaps out there in the school system. They are not teaching these courses.
Still probably.
And I don't know the details, so I can't really comment about what's
happening. So let me ask you this now. Is there a reason why you do teach when you teach? How often do you teach? personal finance?
I've taught a course in personal finance at University of South Pacific. I haven't taught for a few years now. I've basically taken some time off of teaching because I've gotten busy doing other things. But I love teaching. I love empowering people with knowledge. And it's the same with my customers. One of the ways that I really lock into my customers is that I empower them with as much knowledge about the product as I possibly can, and then let them make the decision about what they want to do. And this brings into this issue that I find some of the key aspects of business is trust and like. If you can get the customer to trust you and to like you, you are already ahead of the game. And the way I get them to trust me is that I empower them with the knowledge for them to make their decision.
So you become their resource for information.
Correct.
So your resource for information, and based on the information, they're going to make their informed decisions.
Correct. And let me just carry a little bit on the like side. I use a concept I called mana aloha. Now, mana meaning spirit. Most people think of aloha as love, which is true, but aloha means other things as well too. It also can mean spirit. It also can mean positivity. And what I do with my customers is I create a mana aloha bubble with me and them in it. So they're in this bubble of spiritual positivity and of spiritual knowledge. And I subsume myself in that bubble, and I bring them along with me. And customers love to have the product knowledge and to be working with people who treat them with respect and engulf them in a sphere of positivity as well too.
When you started your business, did you have like a business plan? Did you have resources that you can tap into it? What did you do?
Yes, I did have a business plan. I had to tell you a funny story just recently. I've been having some people talking to me quite a lot about cryptocurrencies. Mm-hmm. And I've had some people give me some presentations on cryptocurrencies. And so I've asked these people, well, show me the business plan. And you know what? They didn't have one. And they still don't have one. And it amazes me the amount of businesses out there, especially on the cryptocurrency level, that do not have a business plan, and yet they're on the verge of something and getting investors to put in millions of dollars and so on and so forth. So, and I can tell you, I did not invest. Not that I don't believe in cryptocurrencies, but I could not get over that first hurdle is if you can't show me a business plan, then I really can't go any further in looking at investing with you.
What about resources? When you started your business, what kind of resources you could tap into it?
That was interesting. I discussed it with my parents. My parents said, all right, how much money do you need? And I said to them, I'm not going to take any of your money, because if this does not work out, I wouldn't be able to live with myself about having wasted and squandered your money. And so I started my business purely from savings and with a bank loan. And that's how I started.
Now, I don't know how many years you're into it, but let's say you've been in the business for some time. Like now, when you know what you know, will you do it again?
Absolutely. Unquestionably. I think for me, the thing that really got me about starting my own business was the ability to control your own destiny. And no amount of money can replace that.
Perfect. Today's guest is Paka Worthington. He's the president of Paka's Pearls, pakaspearls.com. Paka, we're going to take our second break. Then we're going to dive into the business as is today. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Hey, sweetie, what's going on?
Well, honey, I have some news.
Okay, what?
All that training paid off. I got the job.
Oh, I knew you would get it. So when do you start?
When you donate stuff to Goodwill, you help provide job training for people right here in your community. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Terrence Howard. My mother was the cornerstone of our family. She shaped me as an actor, a musician, as a human being. So when she was diagnosed with colon cancer, it was like our whole family got cancer. And she died when she was only 56, so this is personal. Now, hopefully, my heartbreak is your wake-up call. Colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer, but you can prevent this disease. Screening finds precancerous polyps so that they can be removed before they turn into cancer. I've been screened. If you think that you're at an increased risk like I am, ask your doctor when to start screening. And if you're 50 or older, get screened. I don't have my mother anymore, so please, do everything that you can to stay around for yourself and for your family. Screening saves lives.
A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Every single year, millions of average Americans like you have their personal lives virtually destroyed. In an instant, you could lose control of your bank accounts, credit cards, and worse, your very reputation can be stolen and violated. If you or a loved one is a victim of identity theft, FastIDRecovery.com can help you get it all back. At FastIDRecovery.com, you can put your trust in experts in the field of credit score restoration, IRS fraud resolution, document and ID replacement, and more. Without a fully managed protection and restoration service like FastIDRecovery.com, it can take hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars to reclaim what identity thieves have stolen and fix the chaos they leave behind. Your peace of mind is as valuable as your assets, and FastIDRecovery.com will get everything back, including your sanity. Relief is a simple click away at FastIDRecovery.com. That's FastIDRecovery.com.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the Outer Islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, senior partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also certified exit planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., 95.1 FM or 760 a.m. You can find us online, hawaiimoneyresource.com or businessexitplanninghawaii.com. businessexitplanninghawaii.com. If you go online, you can register for our upcoming event. It's a first very major or very important event for this year. We're going to have our exit planning advisory board in a room covering all kind of different topics when it comes to the exit and preparing your business for exit. So if you have a 5 to 10 years and you want to get out of your business in 5 to 10 years, this will be a great event for you. Please go online. The seating is limited, so please go online and register, hawaiimoneyresource.com or businessexitplanninghawaii.com. Okay, let's go back to our guest today, Paka Worthington. Paka is the president of Paka's Pearl. Jewelry manufacturing, wholesaling, exporting, design, and all the good stuff. Paka, we went down the memory lane, how this all started. Pearls can be very tempting, same as diamonds, right?
Pearls and diamonds go very, very good together.
Right. I just guess it was a good guess, I guess.
Lots of songs been called Diamonds and Pearls, so carry on.
So I guess I see why did you fall in love with the pearls, and then especially when you build your culture and your heritage into it, it's absolutely makes sense. So let's talk about business today. Let's for people that are listening, entrepreneurs out there, or people that would like to become a business owner, be entrepreneurs. First of all, you control your time, you control your destiny. We already covered that. Check. Now let's talk about dynamics of the business, because it's not only that you need to have a business sense, you need to have some skill sets in order to run the business, and to be good in, sorting and figuring out your product and placing the product on the market, doing the design, especially if you don't have a good drawing skills. You need to be very creative to figure all that out. So let's talk about it. Let's paint the picture for our listeners.
Regarding
everything, tell me about your business as is right now.
Like any business, I think one of the most important parts of mine is focusing on quality, like any business. So in terms of my pearls and my jewelry, it's all about quality pearls and quality jewelry. I do have a more affordable range, but there's no question that I focus on the mid to high end of the pearl jewelry business. Unquestionably as well too, service, number one as well too, quality service as well. I can tell you that I work just as hard to deliver a piece of jewelry that costs $20 to $30 as I do for a piece of jewelry that can cost thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. I know, I always say, treat your customer the way that you want to be treated. And I know if I'm going to spend $10 or $20 for something, I still want great service as well too. And so that's definitely one of my philosophies as well too, is treat customers the way that you want to be treated.
So pearls, I mean, same as diamonds, like it's all size, quality, clarity, or however you whatever the definitions are when it comes to the pearls. And then, you know, it's you were telling me a little bit about the farming, because you're buying from the farmers, you know, the people that are growing the pearls.
Now that's a really important business concept too, and that concept is relationships. So I do everything in the pearl business except farming. So what I do is I buy the pearls from the farmers. Now, it's an open market out there, so farmers can sell to anyone. But one of the keys that I've always done, and I got to tell you this too, in this business, the relationship becomes very, very important. Any farmer that I've always worked with, we've been all working together now for over 20 years together. And how I solidified the relationship, aside from personality and engagement and other things, is I always paid cash for the pearls. There's been a lot of people in the pearl business where they don't pay cash, they make promises to pay later, they don't pay, then you get into fights between the farmer and the person trying to pay and all this kind of nonsense. The key was I always paid cash, always did the deal's done, we'll see you next time. And they always come back.
So, like,
but relationship building is the key part that I want to make clear about that.
Of course, like any other business, like
right.
Especially in a service business or in a business like yours, finding the quality farmers, because you're buying from the source, you're buying from the people that build it, they're growing it.
Correct. Very, very difficult. Very, very tricky. What happens is pearl farmers actually usually only harvest once or maybe twice a year. So that, if you're only working with one farmer, that means you've got to wait a year or 6 months to get another harvest. So what it requires you to do is to work with several farmers so that you're able to have a consistent supply throughout the year. So people ask me, oh, well, what farmer are you working with? And I said, no, wrong question. What farmers with an S am I working with? And I buy from many, many different farmers.
I asked you in the break, like life cycle of the pearl, like how the pearl like actually is, how they're farming it, and you mentioned that it's a 2-year cycle from the starting point till the point when they harvest it.
Correct. It's actually much longer. What happens is the oysters that produce the pearls start out as little spats, which are very, very small. The oyster needs to grow to become big enough to actually insert a nucleus in there. So that usually takes about 5 years for the oyster to become big enough. You then insert a nucleus into the oyster. That nucleus then sits in the oyster for another 2 years, and then you harvest, and then you have the pearls. So from beginning to end, you're actually talking more like 7 years, because the oyster needs to become big enough in order for you to actually see the oyster.
So when they're farming and building it, like how big are these?
There's like business in general, there's different size businesses and different size farmers. If you're really going to get serious about pearl farming, you're usually talking about having 5,000 oysters minimum. But the bigger ones get into 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50,000 oysters in one lagoon at one time. And this requires cleaning and managing these oysters, over these 2 years. It's a lot of hard work. A lot of swimming. They're beautiful lagoons, some of the most beautiful lagoons in the world. But I tell you, these pearl farmers in those most beautiful lagoons are some of the hardest workers you'll find anywhere in the world.
So how many pearls or jewelry? Because you create a jewelry around it, right? You don't just sell the pearl as it is.
Correct. And this brings up another business concept, which is value added. Mm-hmm. There's a segment of the pearl industry where people are just selling just the pearls. Now that's a really dog eat dog world out there, because you're only as good as the next guy next to you who's got a better price. So for me to kind of mitigate that by getting involved in jewelry manufacturing, now it's this whole value added component. So now that changes the dynamic completely. Also, when you're looking at selling to wholesalers, I can just say, hey, listen, you don't even have to worry about jewelry manufacturing and design and the pearls. I'll take care of all that for you. All you have to do is just sell the product. Sell, baby, sell. I'll take care of all the rest of it for you. And so that value-added component has definitely been a strength of my business, no question.
What is the logistics of your business? Because Cook Islands is the place where you're at. That's your home office, right? So, like, from there, how do you like logistically communicate with everybody, and how do you put everything together, like from the starting point to the end sale part?
Well, all I have to say is thank God for the internet and technology, because if it wasn't for that, I'd be in a much more difficult situation. Most of the time what happens is I'll have people get in contact with me either by word of mouth or to find me on the internet. I have a huge display on my website of all the different designs. Basically, I say to my wholesale customers, actually, usually what I'll do is I'll recommend to them and I'll say, look at design number 1. That's a really good seller. That's one that I would recommend that you buy because it sells really well. I know from experience because I also have a retail shop as well, too. And I think there's a little bit of that combination of, these days people talk about the internet and brick and mortar. My experience is that they both actually complement each other. To have brick and mortar and to also have a big presence on the internet, it's not one or the other. For me, it's both.
A
combination, and they complement each other as well, too. And I think for any business, too, that'd be something to depending on what the business is exactly. But for certain businesses, I think that's a really good combination to work with.
So through your network of wholesalers and retail channels that you're working with, like who buys the pearls the most? What is the demographics?
In terms of end customers or in terms of end customers, most of the customers would tend to be middle-aged to older. Obviously, mid to higher income as well, too. Predominantly women. However, I must say this as well, too. People look at me and they say, oh, well, you're in the jewelry business. I said, yeah, I am in the jewelry business. But actually, you know what business I'm in? I'm in the love business and I'm in the happy business. Because when you're in jewelry, it's all about love and happiness. It's about people expressing their love. And I like to joke with customers, too, is say, how deep is your love? And you need to show it to your wife. But it's all about love and happiness.
So are you
in the business.
8 millimeter or 14 millimeter pearl?
Correct. And the bigger the better.
Right. Are you in excellent or poor condition?
Correct. Exactly. And I must say that is, I had someone ask me the other day about whether I ever considered to becoming a lawyer. And I said to them, why would I do that? Being a lawyer, all you just do is listen to people's problems all day long. I'm in a business where I'm making people happy all day long. I said, between being a lawyer and being in jewelry, I'd much prefer the jewelry business, no question.
So I guess that you have a target market. There is a demographic out there. But you mentioned, social media. You mentioned the website. Like, how's that affect? Do you see any newcomers into that, middle to older age? Do you see newer generation kind of like getting into it, or not really? Like, because Facebook, you mentioned Facebook is a pretty big seller for you. So like, what? Like,
I agree.
How you justify that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a dichotomy because my target market is mid-age to older people who generally are not on the internet and onto Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all this type of thing. But I think slowly more and more people who are currently mid-age and older are obviously getting involved in all this type of technology. So slowly more and more of those type of people are seeing me on the internet. On the other hand, too, I do have customers that are younger as well, too. And as I mentioned, I do sell a more affordable range as well, too, for those people who don't have as much money as...
Or they may be just starting with
maybe just starting. I mean, basically, I sell jewelry anywhere from $10 up to tens of thousands of dollars and everything in between.
What is like in your experience, I need to ask this, but what is the pearl that you will say it's like a crown or whatever of all the pearls that you ever have any exposure with?
So most of the pearls are between 8 to 12 millimeters. Once you get 12 millimeter and up, it gets become very, very rare. And to see good quality, 12 millimeter and up, it's very, very difficult too. So prices start to move exponentially higher once you get past 12 millimeter. There was one time I saw a pearl that was 21 millimeters. That's the biggest pearl I've ever seen. Huge.
So what was the price for that?
The price for that, this was a wholesale price as well too. This person was asking me, they were talking about $30,000.
Wholesale price.
Wholesale price.
So retail, couple $100,000 probably.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now let's talk about the business. Like from the business standpoint, what is the hurdle that you are facing or you have a challenge with?
I'm kind of a mid-sized business within the pearl industry. I call it my VATS dance. Okay? So I've got the big vultures at the top that are circling, and I'm slapping them away with one hand. But then on my leg, I've got the smaller businesses, and there's all these ants crawling up my leg on the bottom side. So I've got one hand slapping the ants off of my legs, and I got another hand waving the vultures off behind my head, and I'm just dancing in between, basically.
So competition.
Absolutely.
I say a competition is great.
Absolutely. Jewelry business, pearl jewelry, competition is very, very strong. On the other hand, what the internet has allowed us to do is on the internet, I am competing with these very, very big, large international jewelry companies. So on the other end, the big boys are feeling the competition as well, too. But it's a very, very competitive business, no question about it.
How do you stay innovative? How you stay ahead of a curve?
One of the ways is jewelry design, as I mentioned earlier, coming up with new ideas, new styles. Currently, the current style that flusters me, everyone's into pineapples at the moment, and pineapple pearl jewelry. For myself, it's not what it really appeals to me, but I've kind of had to force myself into accepting that this is the latest style design and come up with some designs around that. And, that's the other thing too. Sometimes I have to do designs and jewelry that is not really my taste, but you understand that there's a lot of different people out there with a lot of different tastes. So you have to do all different kinds of designs that appeals to everyone's taste, not just your own.
Wow. So I guess you need to you're not buying it, you're selling it. So that's why you need to focus on your target market or your customers. Okay, perfect. Why don't we take our last break for today? And once we come back, we're gonna talk about. I'm gonna ask you my 3 questions for the end, and then if there is anything else that you want to mention or talk, we will be glad to hear. Today's guest is Paka Worthington. Paka is the president of Paka Pearls. pakaspearls.com. My name is Marko Mijuskovic. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
.760 KGU.
Part of the Wall Street Business Network.
Hi, I'm Sam Waterston. More than 6 million Americans are losing their sight to blinding diseases such as macular degeneration and retinitis pigmentosa. But there is hope. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is leading the charge to find treatments and cures for these devastating diseases. For free information on the latest treatments and research, or to find out how you can help, call the Foundation at 800-844-1174. That's 800-844-1174.
People put a lot of thought into going into business, but not so much into how they'll get out. which makes it easy to get stuck. That's why Marko Mijuskovic handpicks a team of lawyers, accountants, tax, and industry specialists to help you make your business exit plan. You get yourself into business, Marko will help you get out. Registered representative and financial advisor of Park Avenue Securities, LLC, PAS. OSJ 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004. 1-888-600-4667. Securities, products, and advisory services offered through PAS. Member FINRA, SIPC. Financial representative of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Guardian, New York, New York, PAS is an indirect wholly owned subsidiary of Guardian. Wealth Strategy Partners, LLC is not an affiliate or subsidiary of PAS or Guardian. 2015-09890.
You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource with financial advisor Marko Mijuskovic. If you'd like to speak to Marko, either on the air or after the show, call toll-free from Oahu and the outer islands, 877-695-2102. That's 877-695-2102.
Welcome back. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner at Wealth Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You're listening to Hawaii Money Resource every Wednesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. You can hear us online, hawaiimoneyresource.com or businessexitplanninghawaii.com. One more time, let me point you to businessexitplanninghawaii.com for our latest event, limited seating, very important event, a lot of good information. We're going to talk about business exit planning and preparation for exit sometimes in the future. So if you have 5 to 10 years and you want to get out of the business in some of those time ranges, please go online, businessexitplanninghawaii.com, and register for this event. Okay, let's go back to our guest today, Paka Worthington. Paka is the owner and president of Paka's Pearls. Design, manufacturing. We have 4 minutes left for today's show. Thanks for letting me know. Paka, before I ask you my 3 questions, I want to ask you, is there anything you want to mention or promote or something that you would like to say maybe hi to someone just before I ask you my questions?
No, I just want to say that I think one of the key parts about entrepreneurship, I touched upon it earlier, is being multi-skilled and multidimensional. The days when, you studied to become an accountant and you're accountants for the rest of your life are gone. These days, you have to know accounting, management, operations, technology, social media, on and on and on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And I think when if you can reflect on Hawaii, if you look at King Kamehameha, everyone knows him as a warrior. People don't realize that not only was he a warrior, but he was a businessman, he was a diplomat, he was a farmer, he was a fisherman, he was a lover, he had 30 wives. He was a very, very religious man as well, too. And he became king of Hawaii. And the reason for that, again, is that issue about being multi-skilled and multi-dimensional. The same philosophy does not change over time.
It just expands on it.
Correct.
First question, what is the future for Paka's Pearls?
No question that the internet and social media is a big part of the future for Paka's Pearls, and also expanding our client base in terms of wholesalers around the Pacific and hopefully also around the world. That's where the future is for me at the moment.
Expanding the wholesale network, what is the limit? How many you can handle?
Well, it's true. I mean, the limit of is obviously wide open. It's about production capacity as well too. How many can we handle? Right now we're fine, but I am in a position where I can ramp up production capacity.
Depends on demand.
Depends on demand, of course.
Perfect. Second question: what is your exit?
What is
What is your exit out of this business?
My exit strategy is I have a young daughter, Puara Nui, sitting right next to me here. And I've been talking to her and teaching her about business and entrepreneurial skills. And I hope one day she'll be able to take over what I've been doing all these years.
Perfect. Last question for today is, if someone is looking to become an entrepreneur or wanted to get into business by themselves, what will be your word of wisdom?
I mentioned about the multi-skilled, multi-dimensional. That's important. I think being authentic about who you are and about what your product is about as well, too, is very, very important. Also to massage your strengths and focus on your weaknesses.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Paka. This was a great show. We touch upon a lot of good stuff. We have like a little bit of time left. I just want to say thank you for being a guest today's show. Paka's Pearls, Paka Worthington, owner and president. PakasPearls.com is probably the best place for our listeners to go and check out your designs and your work and your products. My name is Marko Mijuskovic, Senior Partner of All Strategy Partners, also Certified Exit Planner. You can hear us every Wednesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Stay tuned and do not go anywhere.
The Living Balance Sheet and the Living Balance Sheet logo are registered service marks of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. The graphics and text used herein are the exclusive property of Guardian and protected under U.S. and international copyright laws. Copyright 2005 to 2011. The Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. This show is for informational purposes only. Individual risk tolerance and investment objectives must be reviewed prior to making any specific recommendations. Marko Mijuskovic is a registered representative and financial advisor for Park Avenue Securities, LLC, 7 Hanover Square, New York, New York, 10004. Securities products, services, and advisory services are offered through Park Avenue Securities, a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor. 888-600-4667. Financial representative, the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America, New York, New York. Park Avenue Securities is an indirect, wholly owned subsidiary of the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Wealth Strategy Partners is not an affiliate or subsidiary of Park Avenue Securities or the Guardian Life Insurance Company of America. Park Avenue Securities is a member FINRA SIPC.